Hi there, this is Karen STEVER and I'm coming at you from thepublicrecord.com. I've been hosting STEVER's Public Playground project here, where we've been writing a song with the community. I want to talk to you guys today about the visual representation of a song. Of course, this applies to art and visuals that I hope to get from you guys later so that we can have a visual representation of the song. But I want to talk specifically to drummers, guitar players, and all the other instruments that are going to be coming up here about looking at a song visually and applying that to your instrument. This song has a lot of nouns and adjectives and stuff that can really give you a visual of what your instrument could be doing. Let me just flip it around in my face again. Let's just look at the first verse. A is for Abby and B is for Betsy. So we got two little girls who are standing with their hands, like blocked hands. In the dirt they stand, forgotten, lost, and rusty. So here we have two dirty little girls who were forgotten or lost and rusty. So you got dirt and rust in there. Now think about how a line like that could apply to your drums or to your guitar or whatever. Do you have a dirty sound for your drums? Do you have something that sounds kind of rusty as far as a noise that could be used in there? Now, and I don't mean literal like we're going to have Foley necessarily like a movie thing, but just think about it like, what would dirty drums sound like? Or what would an ambient drum sound like? Or what would a rusty old drum sound like? And apply that to the verse. Here you have the boys, you know, these Charlie and Denny, who back to back to protect their backs, the rope burn spelled out daddy. Like, these are boys that, you know, are got their backs to each other. So, I mean, it could be aggressive. It could be just this whole thing gives you a vibe for the verse. Whereas when you get down to this is a public playground and we're allowed to be here. Think about that. It's a public playground. Big, right? Public. Lots of kids. We're allowed to be here. Definitive statement. So when you're hitting those drums, this is a, see how I have that in brackets? That signifies that's a pickup. You know, when I'm writing, I quite often will do that. So this is a public playground. Downbeat. Think about hitting a drum or something hard on that first thing and then carrying it through the whole chorus, not changing grooves, because this whole chorus is saying something. You're making a statement to the people out there, and for that entire time that you're yelling that at somebody, you're making a statement. So how do you make that with your drums as well, you know? Dusting off the ash, running with scissors on concrete eggshells. Think about these words concrete that are in there that Matt had come up with. The word concrete, you can't get any harder of a word than that. You can't. You know, it's like, unless there's some, you know, other kind of rock out there you want to stick inside instead. But that's very on concrete eggshells, very hard. So to me, this is a hard-hitting chorus. That's how I would personally interpret it. Doesn't mean we can't have other versions of the song, like dance versions, or, you know, cool, just like, oh, I got this cool beat I want to put in there. No, let the lyrics really dictate what you want those drums to do, and later on what you want those guitars to do. And then when it goes down into other parts of the song, you can see, like at the end, then there's Z. Z has broke his crown. I'm sure he'll come around to the edge of our playground. Touching line. You want to bring your drums down on that line, or you bring your guitars down to some other cool sound that's a little more ambient, because, you know, you're reflecting then by that point in the song. So if you really go through line by line, and I do this on all music I create, line by line, I figure out exactly what it's saying, and then what can an instrument do to support what it's saying. So back to what I was saying about in the dirt they stand, lost, forgotten, lost, and rusty. Is your drum, does it sound like those kids are standing in dirt? Does it sound like those kids are lost? Or does it sound like they're at the dance club having a party? Because that to me is an inaccurate representation of what we're hearing with those lyrics. So now within that, you have all sorts of dirty drum sounds, or, you know, rusty drum sounds, or whatever you got to interpret that. That's awesome. But hopefully that just gives you a little insight and just makes you look at it a little differently. Of course, I like you to have the freedom to do what you want, but to me there is nothing more important in the song than the lyrics. So as best as we can interpret what's going on there, and recognizing that these are broken up into sections so that you can approach each section of the song differently. So when they come in, you might hit it a little differently. Recognizing there are pickups, so drum fills can help support a pickup line, like this is a public playground. Stuff like that can really make those emphases hit really hard. Okay? So there's just a few thoughts on approaching it from a visual standpoint. Of course, you guys are so free to do what you like. The only thing I would narrow down is saying this is going to be a heavy-hitting rock song. So I don't see it having a lot of dance grooves or things like that, but what I do look forward to is later on, when we have all the parts down, is you guys doing remixes. We'll talk about that as a whole different phase. But let's try to keep the structure as a rock song, and recognizing that those lyrics can help you, and the visual representation of those lyrics can help you establish what those drum parts are going to do and what your sounds are going to do. You know, right down to whether you just do it in a cut time in an ugly, dark way, or whether it's going to drive through. Let those lyrics really dictate what you're about to try out on your drums. All right? We'll talk to you soon. Rock on.